27th August, Saint Monica, Memoria. Born at Tagaste in Africa of a Christian family about the year 331. While still young, she was married to Patricius and had children, one of whom was Augustine. She was unceasing in her prayers to God for his conversion and shed many tears for him. She strengthened her faith by her prayer and was outstanding in virtue, a wonderful example of a Christian mother. She died at Ostia in the year 387. A reading from the Confessions of Saint Augustine. Let us touch eternal wisdom. When the day was approaching on which she was to depart this life, a day that you knew though we did not, it came about, as I believe, by your secret arrangement, that she and I stood alone, leaning in a window, which looked inwards to the garden within the house where we were staying at Ostia on the Tiber. For there we were away from everybody, resting for the sea voyage from the weariness of our long journey by land. There we walked together, she and I alone, in deep joy, and forgetting the things that were behind, and looking forward to those that were before, we were discussing in the presence of truth, which you are, what the eternal life of the saints could be like, which eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor has it entered the heart of man. But with the mouth of our heart, we panted for the high waters of your fountain, the fountain of the life which is with you. Such thoughts I uttered, though not in that order or in those actual words. But you know, O Lord, that on that day, when we talked of these things, the world with all its delights seemed cheap to us in comparison with what we talked of. And my mother said, "Son, for my own part, I no longer find joy in anything in this world. What I am still to do here and why I am here, I know not, now that I no longer hope for anything from this world. One thing there was, for which I desired to remain still a little longer in this life, that I should see you a Catholic Christian before I died. This God has granted me in superabundance, in that I now see you His servant to the contempt of all worldly happiness. What then am I doing here? What answer I made, I do not clearly remember. Within 5 days, or not much longer, she fell into a fever, and in her sickness, she one day fainted away and for the moment lost consciousness. We ran to her, but she quickly returned to consciousness, and seeing my brother and me standing by her, she said as one wondering, "Where was I?" Then looking closely upon us, as we stood wordless in our grief, she said, "Here you will bury your mother." I stayed silent and checked my weeping. But my brother said something to the effect that he would be happier if she were to die in her own land and not in a strange country. But as she heard this, she looked at him anxiously, restraining him with her eye, because he savored of earthly things. And then she looked at me and said, "See the way he talks." And then she said to us both, "Lay this body wherever it may be. Let no care of it disturb you. This only I ask of you, that you should remember me at the altar of the Lord, wherever you may be." And when she had uttered this wish in such words as she could manage, she fell silent as her sickness took hold of her more strongly.